Captain Wu Jin sat in his chair on the bridge of the UES Indomitable. The stars outside looked cold and distant. His ship was far from Earth, patrolling the empty space at the edge of known territory. It was quiet work, but someone had to do it. The ship was big and strong. It carried 300 crew members and enough weapons to fight a small war. But out here there was nothing to fight. Just empty space and silence. "Captain," said Lieutenant Hana from her station. "I'm getting something strange on the communications array." Wu Jin turned to look at her. Hana was young but very smart. She could find patterns in data that others missed. If she said something was strange, it probably was. "What kind of strange?" he asked. "It's a distress signal, sir, but it's very weak, and it's coming from the Forbidden Zone." The bridge went quiet. Everyone knew about the Forbidden Zone. It was a huge area of space where ships went missing. The Galactic Federation had marked, "It is too dangerous to enter." Even the strongest alien warships stayed away from it. "Can you clean up the signal?" Wu Jin asked. Hana worked at her console for several minutes. The bridge crew waited. Finally, a broken voice came through the speakers. It spoke in Galactic Standard, but the words were hard to understand. "Help. Please. Dying. Children. Starving. Pirates took everything. Anyone. Please." The voice was weak and scared. It sounded like someone who had given up hope but was still trying one last time. "Analysis," Wu Jin said. Hana checked her screens. "The signal is coming from deep in the Forbidden Zone, sir, about 6 light-years from here. The voice patterns match the Vellani species." Commander Do-hyun looked up from his tactical station. He was older than the captain and had seen many battles. His face was serious. "Sir, the Vellani are peaceful creatures. They have no weapons at all. They're like sheep among wolves out there." Wu Jin knew about the Vellani. They were small, gentle beings who made beautiful art and music. They never fought anyone. They couldn't fight anyone. Their whole culture was built around peace and beauty. "How did they get into the Forbidden Zone?" asked Weapons Officer Taeho. "Pirates," Do-hyun said. "Has to be. Someone probably captured their ship and took them there." The distress signal kept playing. Each time it repeated, it got a little weaker. Soon, it would fade away completely. "Sir," Do-hyun said quietly, "we need to think about this carefully. The Forbidden Zone earned its name. Ships don't come back from there. We have 300 people on this ship." Wu Jin understood what his commander was saying. It was smart and logical. The safe thing to do was ignore the signal and continue their patrol. No one would blame them. The Forbidden Zone was marked as a no-go area for good reasons, but Wu Jin could still hear that voice in his head. The fear and desperation in it. Someone was dying out there, and they were asking for help. "What do we know about the Forbidden Zone?" he asked. Navigator Minho spoke up. "Strange gravity fields, sir. Dead star systems. And rumors about the Krek Syndicate using it as a base. The Kreks were pirates, but not ordinary pirates. They were organized and brutal. Their ships were huge and powerful. They captured other beings and sold them as slaves. They had never been defeated in battle. The Federation has tried to clean out the Kreks 3 times, Do-hyun said. Each time, they sent a battle group. Each time the ships never came back. "How many ships in a battle group?" Wu Jin asked. 20 to 30 warships, sir." The bridge was quiet again. The Indomitable was just one ship. If 30 Federation warships couldn't handle the Kreks, what chance did they have? Engineer Kyung-ho spoke from his station. "Sir, our engines are running well. We could reach the signal source in about 18 hours at maximum speed." 18 hours into the Forbidden Zone, Do-hyun said. 18 hours away from any possible help. Wu Jin looked at the faces of his crew. They were all good people. They had families back on Earth. Parents, children, friends who were waiting for them to come home safely. But somewhere in the dark, there were innocent beings who needed help. Children who were starving. People who were dying while hoping someone would hear their call. "Sir," Communications Officer Ji-woo said, "the signal is getting weaker. I estimate we'll lose it completely in 2 hours. If they were going to help, they had to decide now. Commander Do-hyun, what's your tactical assessment? Woo-jin asked. Do-hyun's face was grim. Honestly, sir, it's probably a trap. The Kreks are known for using prisoners as bait. They let someone send a distress signal, then wait for rescue ships to show up. So you think we shouldn't go? I think we need to be very careful, sir. We're responsible for 300 lives. Woo-jin understood his commander's position. Do-hyun was thinking like a good military officer. He was weighing risks and benefits. He was trying to keep the crew safe. But Woo-jin was thinking about something else. He was thinking about why humans had joined the Galactic Federation in the first place. It wasn't for trade or technology. It was because they believed in protecting those who couldn't protect themselves. Humans had a saying, "No one left behind." It was more than just words. It was who they were. Hana, can you estimate how many people are on that ship? He asked. She worked at her console. Based on the signal strength and background noise, I'd guess several hundred beings, sir. Maybe close to 1,000. 1,000 innocent people, probably mostly families with children, all of them scared and dying while hoping someone would help them. Sir, Do-hyun said again, I have to advise against this. The risk is too great. Woo-jin stood up from his chair. He looked around the bridge at his crew. These were good people. They had volunteered to serve in the Deep Space Patrol, knowing it was dangerous work. They understood that sometimes you had to take risks to do what was right. Mr. Minho, set course for the signal source, maximum speed. Sir? Do-hyun started to protest. Commander, I understand your concerns, but there are children out there who need our help. We didn't come all the way out here to ignore people in trouble. Do-hyun nodded slowly. He didn't agree with the decision, but he understood it. That was why he was a good officer. Aye, sir. All stations, prepare for entry into the Forbidden Zone. The Indomitable turned toward the dark region of space where no ship was supposed to go. Behind them, the familiar stars grew smaller. Ahead of them lay the unknown. But somewhere in that darkness, people were waiting for help, and the humans were coming. The Indomitable moved through space toward the Forbidden Zone. Captain Woo-jin watched the stars change on the main screen. The familiar patterns disappeared, replaced by strange clusters and dark areas where no light shone. Captain, we're entering the outer edge of the zone, Navigator Minho reported. I'm seeing some unusual readings. What kind of unusual? Woo-jin asked. Gravity fields that shouldn't exist, sir. They're pulling in different directions. It's like space itself is broken here. Engineer Kyung-ho looked worried at his station. Sir, these gravity fields are affecting our faster-than-light engines. I'm having to constantly adjust our course to avoid getting pulled off track. Can we still reach the signal source? Yes, sir, but it's going to take longer than expected. Maybe 24 hours instead of 18. 24 hours was a long time to be lost in dangerous space. But they had come this far. They couldn't turn back now. Sir, Lieutenant Hana called out. The distress signal is getting stronger. We're definitely getting closer. That was good news. It meant they were going in the right direction. It also meant the people sending the signal were still alive. The ship shook suddenly, not from weapons fire, but from the strange gravity pulling at them. Kyung-ho, can you keep us stable? Woo-jin asked. I'm trying, sir, but this place is like a maze. We have to go slow and careful or we'll get torn apart. The hours passed slowly. The crew stayed at their stations watching the sensors for any sign of danger. The Forbidden Zone was living up to its reputation. Dead planets drifted past their ship. Some looked like they had been burned. Others looked like they had been torn apart by enormous forces. What happened here? Weapons Officer Tae-ho asked quietly. War, Commander Do-hyun said. This whole region was probably the site of a massive battle, maybe centuries ago. They passed the wreckage of old ships. Some were so ancient that no one could tell what species had built them. Others were more recent. Woo-jin recognized the hull design of a Federation cruiser that had gone missing 2 years ago. Sir, Hana said urgently. I'm getting the signal source on long-range sensors. The main screen switched to show what the sensors had found. In the distance, near a dead star system, a ship drifted without power. It was clearly alien, in design with smooth curves and elegant lines. A Volani transport ship. Life signs? Medical Officer So Young asked. Hana checked her readings. Weak but present, sir. I count 847 life forms aboard that ship. 847 innocent people trapped in a dead ship in the most dangerous part of the galaxy. Condition of their ship? Do-hyun asked. Not good, Commander. Hull breaches on multiple decks. Power systems failing. Life support running on emergency backup. Woo Jin could see the ship more clearly now. It had been beautiful once, but now it was battered and broken. Scorch marks from energy weapons covered its hull. Several sections had been blown open to space. Pirates did this, Taeho said angrily. They attacked a civilian transport. Why didn't they just destroy it? Minho asked. Do-hyun's face was grim. Because they're using it as bait. Before anyone could ask what he meant, Jiwoo called out from her communication station. Sir, multiple contacts incoming. Big ones. The main screen changed to show the long-range sensor display. 12 massive shapes were moving toward them from different directions. They were huge, much bigger than the Indomitable. Krex dreadnoughts, Do-hyun said quietly. 12 of them. The bridge went silent. Everyone knew what this meant. The Krex had been waiting for someone to respond to the distress signal. The Volani transport was bait in a trap, and the humans had flown right into it. Size comparison? Woo Jin asked calmly. Each of their ships is about twice our size, sir. Taeho reported. Much heavier armor and weapons. Combat odds? Taeho worked at his console, running the numbers. When he looked up, his face was pale. Sir, we're outnumbered 12-1. They have approximately 50 times our firepower. 50 times. That meant the Krex fleet could destroy the Indomitable 50 times over. Time until they reach us? Woo Jin asked. 2 hours, sir, Minho said. 2 hours to decide what to do. 2 hours to figure out how to save nearly 1,000 innocent lives while facing impossible odds. Options? Woo Jin asked his senior officers. We could run, Do-hyun said. Try to get back to Federation space and call for help. What about the Volani? So Young asked. They're dying anyway, Do-hyun said sadly. Their life support will fail, long before help could arrive. It was a logical answer, a smart answer, but it meant abandoning 847 innocent people to die. Could we take some of them aboard our ship? Kyung-ho asked. So Young checked her medical supplies. We could fit maybe 50 people in our medical bay and cargo areas. But 800? Impossible. We don't have the space or resources. And the Krex would still destroy us, Taeho added. We can't outrun 12 dreadnoughts. Woo Jin looked at the screen showing the approaching enemy fleet. 12 massive warships, filled with pirates who had never been defeated. Ships that had destroyed. Federation battle groups. Sir, Do-hyun said quietly. I have to recommend immediate retreat. We can't save the Volani, but we can save our own crew. It was the smart choice. The logical choice. The choice that would keep 300 human lives safe. But it was also the choice that would leave 847 innocent beings to die alone in the dark. How long do the Volani have? Woo Jin asked. Their life support will fail in about 6 hours, Hana reported. 6 hours. Even if the Indomitable ran back to Federation space at maximum speed, it would take days to bring help. The Volani would be dead long before then. Sir, Jiwoo said from her station, I'm receiving a transmission from the Krex fleet. Put it through. The main screen changed to show a huge, armored creature with glowing red eyes. Its face was covered in scars, and its voice was like grinding metal. Human vessel, the creature said. I am Vorthak the Destroyer, commander of this fleet. You have entered our territory. Woo Jin stood up. This is Captain Woo Jin of the United Earth ship Indomitable. You are holding innocent civilians prisoner. Vorthak laughed. It was a horrible sound. Innocent, they are cargo merchandise, but I am feeling generous today. I will give you a choice. What choice? Surrender your ship and crew to us. We can always use more slaves. In exchange, we will kill the plant eaters quickly instead of selling them to the experimentation labs. The bridge crew looked shocked. The Kreks wanted them to surrender so they could become slaves. In exchange, the Villani would get a quick death instead of being tortured in alien laboratories. That's your offer? Wu Jin asked. That is my offer. You have 1 hour to decide. After that, we will destroy your ship and take the survivors anyway. The transmission ended. The screen returned to showing the approaching Kreks fleet. Sir, Du Hyun said urgently. We need to leave, now. We can't fight 12 dreadnoughts. Wu Jin looked around the bridge. His crew was waiting for his decision. They trusted him to keep them safe. They had families back home who were counting on them to return. But in the cargo bays of that broken transport ship, there were children who would never see their families again, unless someone helped them. Mr. Kyung-ho, Wu Jin said. How long would it take to transfer the Villani to our ship? All of them, sir? That's impossible. We don't have space. How many could we take? Maybe 200 if we use every available space. 200 out of 847. Better than nothing, but still leaving 600 people to die. Sir, Do Hyun said again. Even if we save some of them, the Kreks will destroy us all. Wu Jin knew his commander was right. It was an impossible situation. No matter what they did, people were going to die. But sometimes, when everything was impossible, you had to choose which impossible thing to do. All stations, prepare for combat, Wu Jin ordered. The bridge crew stared at him in shock. Sir? Du Hyun asked. We're going to fight, Wu Jin said simply. And we're going to save as many of those people as we can. The crew of the Indomitable moved quickly to prepare for battle. Captain Wu Jin knew they had little time before the Kreks fleet arrived. Every minute counted now. So Young, take a medical team to the Villani ship, Wu Jin ordered. Start moving. Their most critical patients to our medical bay. Yes, sir, Dr. So Young replied, already gathering her supplies. Kyung-ho, can you get their life support working long enough for evacuation? The engineer checked his readings. I can try, sir, but their ship is badly damaged. I'll need to take some of our spare parts. Do it. Take whatever you need. The Indomitable moved closer to the drifting Villani transport. Through the viewports, they could see the damage more clearly. The beautiful ship had been torn apart by weapons fire. Entire sections were missing. Docking with the transport now, Minho reported. The two ships connected with a soft bump. Immediately, teams of humans began moving through the airlocks. What they found inside was heartbreaking. The Villani were small, gentle creatures with large eyes and soft fur. They looked like a cross between rabbits and deer. Most of them were too weak to stand. The children were crying softly, and the adults looked hopeless. My God, So Young whispered as she saw the condition they were in. The Villani had been without proper food for weeks. Their water supplies were almost gone. Many were sick from breathing recycled air for too long. We're here to help, So Young told them gently. We're going to get you to safety. The Villani looked at the humans with wonder. They had never seen creatures like them before. The humans were bigger and stronger, but they moved carefully and spoke softly. It was clear they meant no harm. Meanwhile, on the bridge of the Indomitable, the crew was preparing for the impossible fight ahead. Weapon status? Wu Jin asked. All systems ready, sir, Taeho reported. But, sir, our main guns can maybe damage one of their ships. We don't have enough firepower to fight 12 dreadnoughts. Then we'll have to be smart about it, Wu Jin said. Commander Do Hyun studied the tactical display. Sir, the Krek ships are moving to surround us. Classic formation. They'll try to hit us from all sides at once. Can we use the gravity fields? Against them? Wu Jin asked. Navigator Minho looked thoughtful. Maybe, sir. There's a dead star nearby. Its gravity well is very strong. If we could lure some of their ships too close, they'd get pulled in, Do Hyun finished. It's possible, but we'd have to make them chase us right to the edge. It was a dangerous plan. One mistake and the Indomitable would be pulled into the dead star too, but it was better than trying to fight 12 ships head-on. Jiwoo, can you hack into their communication systems? Wu Jin asked. The communications officer smiled grimly. I can try, sir. Human computer systems are very different from Krek's technology. They might not expect our intrusion methods. Do it. See if you can cause some confusion in their ranks. Down in the transport ship, the evacuation was going slowly. There were simply too many Villani and not enough time. How many have we moved? Kyung-ho asked over the communicator. 120 so far, So-young replied. But sir, we need more space. We're running out of room. Woo-jin made a quick decision. Open the cargo bays, move everything we can to make room. Food, spare parts, everything. Sir, if we dump our supplies, we won't have enough for a long journey home, Do-hyun warned. We'll worry about that if we survive the next few hours. The human crew worked frantically. They cleared out storage areas, opened emergency shelters, and made room wherever they could. The Villani watched in amazement as these strange beings worked so hard to save them. One young Villani approached So-young as she worked. Why? The creature asked in broken galactic standard. Why help us? You don't know us. So-young paused in her work. How could she explain it? How could she tell this innocent being that humans simply couldn't abandon people in need? Because it's right, she said finally. Because everyone deserves to live. The young Villani's large eyes filled with tears. You risk your lives for strangers. That's what makes us human, So-young replied. On the bridge, the sensor readings were getting worse. Krek's fleet will be in weapons range in 30 minutes, Taeho reported. How many Villani have we evacuated? Woo-jin asked. 206, came the reply from the transport. But sir, there are still over 600 aboard this ship. 600 people they couldn't save. 600 innocent lives that would be lost because there simply wasn't enough time or space. Sir, Jiwoo called out excitedly, I'm into their communication network. Their encryption is different from ours, but I found a way through. Can you disrupt their coordination? I can try. Maybe I can make them think they're getting orders that aren't real. It wasn't much, but every advantage helped when facing impossible odds. 20 minutes to contact, Minho announced. How many more Villani can we take? Woo-jin asked. Maybe 50 more, if we pack them into the corridors, Kyung-ho replied. But that's absolutely the maximum. 50 more out of 600. It wasn't enough. It would never be enough. Sir, a new voice came over the communicator. It was one of the Villani elders. Captain, may I speak with you? Put him through. Great warrior, the Villani said in careful galactic standard. We understand what you are trying to do. You risk everything to save strangers. This is beyond our understanding, but we are grateful. We're going to save as many of you as we can, Woo-jin promised. We know you will try, but we also know the numbers. Most of us will not survive. We accept this. But the young ones you have saved will remember. They will tell their children about the humans who came to help when no one else would. The elder's words hit Woo-jin hard. These people were facing death with dignity, grateful for whatever help they could get. 10 minutes to weapons range, Taeho announced. Final count on evacuees? Woo-jin asked. 257 Villani aboard our ship, sir, So-young reported. We can't take any more. 257 saved. Nearly 600 left behind. All evacuation teams, return to the Indomitable immediately, Woo-jin ordered. TUA. Humans quickly moved back to their ship, sealing the airlocks behind them. The Villani transport was released to drift alone again, carrying those who couldn't be saved. 5 minutes to contact, Minho called out. All stations, battle stations, Woo-jin announced throughout the ship. The crew moved to their combat positions. In the cargo areas and corridors, the rescued Villani huddled together, frightened but grateful to be alive. Sir, Jiwoo said, I've managed to hack into 3 of their ships. I can make their point defense systems target each other instead of us. Do it. 2 minutes to weapons range. Woo-jin looked around the bridge at his crew. They were scared, but they were ready. They knew they were probably going to die, but they had saved over 200 innocent lives. That had to count for something. 1 minute to contact. The Krek's fleet was huge on the main screen now. 12 massive ships bristling with weapons, closing in on the single human vessel. Sir, Tae-ho said quietly. "It's been an honor serving with you." "The honor is mine," Woo-jin replied. 30 seconds. Woo-jin stood up from his command chair. In a few moments, the battle would begin. A battle they couldn't win, against odds they couldn't overcome. But they had done something good. They had answered a call for help when no one else would. They had saved lives when others would have walked away. Sometimes, that was enough. "Weapons range in 10 seconds, Tae-ho announced. "All weapons, fire at will," Woo-jin ordered. The Indomitables' guns opened fire on the Krek's fleet. The battle for the Forbidden Zone had begun. The first shots of the battle lit up the darkness of space. The Indomitables' weapons struck the nearest Krek's dreadnought, causing bright explosions across its hull. But the massive ship barely slowed down. "Their armor is too thick," Tae-ho reported. "Our weapons are having minimal effect." The Krek's responded with overwhelming firepower. Energy beams and missile volleys came from all directions. The Indomitable shook violently as the enemy weapons struck its shields. "Shields down to 60%, Kyung-ho called out from engineering. Captain Woo-jin gripped his command chair as the ship rocked under the assault. "Min-ho, execute gravity well maneuver." The navigator's hands flew over his controls. The Indomitable suddenly dove toward the dead star, using its gravity to increase speed. 3 Krek ships followed, trying to cut off their escape route. "Now!" Woo-jin shouted. Min-ho pulled the ship into a sharp turn, barely escaping the star's gravity well. But the 3 Krek ships were too close. They couldn't turn in time. The dead star's massive gravity caught them and pulled them in. The huge warships were crushed like paper as they fell into the star. 3 down, 9 to go, Do-hyun said grimly. But the victory came at a cost. The dangerous maneuver had damaged the Indomitable's engines. "Engine power down to 40%, Kyung-ho reported. "We can't do that trick again." The remaining 9 Krek ships were more careful now. They spread out, making sure they couldn't all be caught in another gravity trap. "Ji-woo, how's that hack coming?" Woo-jin asked. "Working on it, sir." The communications officer's fingers moved rapidly over her console. "Got it. 3 of their ships are now targeting each other instead of us." Suddenly, the Krek's formation broke apart in confusion. 2 of their dreadnoughts opened fire on a third, thinking it was the human ship. The targeted ship fired back in self-defense. "Beautiful work," Do-hyun said. But their celebration was short-lived. The Kreks quickly figured out what was happening and shut down their communication network. "They've cut me off," Ji-woo reported. "But the damage is done. 2 of their ships are badly hurt. 7 ships left in fighting condition," Tae-ho calculated. Still terrible odds. The battle continued. The Indomitable used every trick it could think of. They hid behind asteroid debris, used the ship's small size to avoid enemy fire, and targeted weak points in the Krek's armor. But slowly, the human ship was losing. The Kreks had too many ships and too much firepower. "Shields down to 20%, Kyung-ho announced. "Hull breaches on decks 4 and 7, came a damage report. "Medical teams to deck 4, So-young called out, rushing to help the wounded. In the cargo areas, the rescued Villani huddled together in fear. The ship shook constantly from enemy fire. Some of the younger ones were crying, but the adults tried to comfort them. One Villani elder approached a human crewman who was working to repair damage nearby. "Will we survive?" the elder asked quietly. The human paused in his work. He was just a maintenance worker, not an officer. But he looked at the frightened alien with gentle eyes. "I don't know," he said honestly. "But our captain won't give up. Humans don't surrender when innocent people need protection." The elder was quiet for a moment. "Your species is very strange. You fight battles you cannot win." "Sometimes that's the only kind of battle worth fighting," the human replied. On the bridge, the situation was getting desperate. "We've lost main weapons," Tae-ho reported. "Only secondary guns still working." 5 Krek's ships still active, Do-hyun said. "They're closing in for the kill." Woo-jin looked at the tactical display. The enemy ships were moving into position to surround them. Once they did, it would be over. "Sir?" Kyung-ho's voice came from engineering. I have a problem down here. The quantum reactor is becoming unstable. All the damage we've taken is affecting the containment field. How long before it fails? Wu Jin asked. Maybe 10 minutes, sir. When it goes, the explosion will be significant. How significant? There was a pause. Big enough to destroy everything within a light second, sir, including us and the remaining Krek ships. The bridge went quiet. A quantum reactor explosion was like a small star going supernova. Nothing could survive it. Can you stabilize it? Do-hyun asked. I can try, sir. But with all the battle damage, I'm not sure it's possible. Wu Jin realized what Kyung-ho was really saying. The engineer could either try to contain the explosion and save everyone, or he could turn it into a weapon and take the Kreks down with them. Sir, the Villani elder's voice came over the communicator. We have been listening to your discussion. We understand what choice you face. Elder, please return to the cargo area where it's safer, Wu Jin said. No, great warrior. We must speak. You can try to save your ship and our lives. But if you fail, the pirates will capture us and sell us to laboratories where we will suffer greatly before we die. The elder paused, then continued. Or you can make sure the pirates never hurt anyone again. We understand this choice. We give you our blessing to do what you must. Wu Jin felt a heavy weight in his chest. These innocent people were asking him to kill them to prevent worse suffering. There may be another way, he said. Perhaps. But if there is not, do not hesitate because of us. The young ones you have saved will carry on our species. That is enough. The captain looked around his bridge. His crew was battered and exhausted, but they were still fighting. They had done everything possible and more. Sir, Do-hyun said quietly, whatever you decide, we're with you. The others nodded. These brave people had followed him into an impossible battle to save strangers. They would follow him to the end. Kyung-ho, Wu Jin said slowly. How much control do you have over the reactor explosion? I can direct most of the energy in one direction, sir, like turning it into a massive weapon. But I can't contain it completely. We're too damaged. And if you weaponize it, it would destroy the remaining Krek ships, sir. All of them. They're close enough now that they can't escape the blast radius. Wu Jin closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, his decision was made. Do it, sir, Do-hyun asked. We're going to ram Vorthak's flagship. Kyung-ho, prepare to turn our reactor into a directed weapon. We're going to make sure these pirates never hurt anyone again. The crew looked at him with understanding. They knew what this meant. They were going to die, but they were going to take the Kreks with them. It's been an honor, Captain, Hana said quietly. The honor has been mine, Wu Jin replied. All hands, he announced throughout the ship. Prepare for final action. We're going to end this. In the cargo areas, the Villani heard the announcement. They understood what it meant. Many of them began to sing, a low, beautiful harmony that spoke of gratitude and peace. The humans listened to the alien song and felt tears in their eyes. These gentle beings were facing death with such grace. Set collision course for Vorthak's ship, Wu Jin ordered. Course set, sir, Minho replied. The Indomitable turned toward the largest Krek's dreadnought, the ship that belonged to the pirate commander who had caused so much suffering. Kyung-ho, reactor status? Ready to weaponize. On your command, sir. Explosion in 4 minutes. 4 minutes until the end. 4 minutes to finish what they had started. The Kreks realized what the humans were doing. They tried to move away, but they were too close together. The explosion would catch them all. Incoming transmission from Vorthak, Ji-woo reported. Put him through. The scarred face of the Krek's commander appeared on screen. For the first time, he looked worried. Human, you are insane. Stop this madness. This is Captain Wu Jin of the United Earth ship Indomitable. You threatened innocents under our protection. Now you learn why humans don't surrender. Vorthak's eyes widened with fear. We can negotiate. I'll let you go. Too late for that, Wu Jin said calmly. He cut the transmission. On the screen, he could see the Krek ships trying desperately to escape. but they were trapped by their own formation. 2 minutes to impact, Minho announced. The Indomitable raced toward its target, carrying 257 grateful Villani and 300 humans who had chosen to die rather than abandon innocence. 1 minute to impact. Wu Jin looked around his bridge one last time. It's been the greatest honor of my life to serve with all of you. The crew smiled back at him. They were scared, but they were proud. They had done something that mattered. 30 seconds. The Villani song grew louder, filling the ship with beautiful harmony. 10 seconds. Wu Jin thought about Earth, so far away. He hoped someone would remember what they had done here. Impact in 3, 2, 1. The Indomitable struck Vorthax flagship just as the quantum reactor exploded. The explosion lit up the Forbidden Zone like a newborn star. Engineer Kyung-ho had done the impossible in those final moments. He had directed most of the quantum reactor's energy into a focused beam that tore through Vorthax flagship and spread outward to catch the other Krek ships. The blast was so bright it could be seen from 3 star systems away. For a few seconds, the dark region of space burned with the light of a small sun. When the light faded, nothing remained of the Krek's fleet. 12 massive dreadnoughts had been completely destroyed. The pirates who had terrorized the Forbidden Zone for decades were gone. But floating in the debris field was something unexpected. A small section of the Indomitable's hull had survived. Engineer Kyung-ho's final act had been to create a pocket of space around the ship's emergency section. The explosion had blown this piece clear of the destruction. Inside this tiny survivor, life support systems ran on emergency power. Most of the ship was gone, but the emergency section still held atmosphere and gravity. 3 weeks later, a Federation rescue fleet arrived to investigate the massive energy signature that had been detected across multiple star systems. What they found amazed them. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of the Federation flagship, looking at the debris field through the main viewer. 12 Krek's dreadnoughts, his tactical officer reported, all completely destroyed, and this appears to be the remains of a human vessel. A human ship did this? Chen asked in disbelief. One human ship destroyed an entire Krek's battle group? The energy patterns suggest a quantum reactor explosion, sir, but it was somehow directed and controlled. Chen had never heard of such a thing. Quantum reactor explosions were supposed to be random and destructive. To turn one into a weapon required incredible skill and courage. Sir, we're detecting a weak signal from that piece of debris, the communications officer reported. What kind of signal? It's a human distress beacon, sir. Very weak, but definitely there. Chen felt his heart race. Survivors? Possibly, sir. The signal is coming from what looks like an emergency section. Send rescue teams immediately. The Federation ships moved quickly to the floating debris. When the rescue teams broke through the hull, they found something wonderful. 127 Villani were still alive, huddled together in the emergency compartments. They were weak and scared, but they had survived. The rescue team, leader Commander Park, looked around in amazement. How did you survive the explosion? An elderly Villani approached him slowly. The humans, the creature said in careful galactic standard. The humans saved us. What humans? Where are they? The Villani's large eyes filled with sadness. Gone, all gone. They gave their lives to protect us. Commander Park didn't understand. What happened here? The Villani elder began to tell the story. How the humans had received their distress call and entered the Forbidden Zone to help. How they had fought an impossible battle against 12 Krek's dreadnoughts. How Captain Wu Jin and his crew had chosen to die rather than abandon innocent people. As the elder spoke, Park found the ship's black box recorder. The device had been heavily damaged, but Federation technicians were able to recover most of the data. When they played back the final moments of the battle, there wasn't a dry eye among the rescue crews. They heard Captain Wu Jin's calm voice as he ordered the final attack. They heard the crew's brave acceptance of their fate. Most moving of all, They heard the Villani singing their song of gratitude as the ship raced toward its destruction. They knew they were going to die, Park said quietly, and they did it anyway. To save strangers, Admiral Chen added, people they had never met before. The news of the battle spread quickly throughout the galaxy. For the first time in history, someone had defeated a full Krex battle group, and it had been done by a single human ship. The story became legend. How Captain Wu Jin and the crew of the Indomitable had answered a distress call that everyone else ignored. How they had fought impossible odds to save innocent lives. How they had chosen sacrifice over surrender. The Villani survivors were taken to safety, but they insisted on doing something first. They wanted to build a monument at the battle site. Working with Federation engineers, they created a simple marker in space, a metal plate that would orbit the dead star system for millions of years. On it, in both human and Villani writing, were these words: "Here stood the UES Indomitable and her crew. They answered the call." The monument became a pilgrimage site. Ships from dozens of species would travel to the Forbidden Zone just to see where the impossible battle had been fought. They would read the simple words and remember that sometimes courage matters more than firepower. The Villani declared humanity their eternal protectors and allies. Every Villani child learned the story of Captain Wu Jin and his crew. They were taught that when you are in trouble, you call for humans because humans will always come. Other species began to change their opinions about humanity too. Before the battle, many aliens saw humans as violent and unpredictable. After the battle, they saw humans as protectors of the innocent. The Krex Syndicate, shocked by the destruction of their most powerful fleet, withdrew from several star systems. For the first time in centuries, civilian ships could travel through those regions safely. Trade routes that had been closed for decades reopened. Colonies that had lived in fear began to prosper. The economic impact of the Indomitable's sacrifice was felt across the galaxy. Back on Earth, the families of the crew were honored as heroes. Their sacrifice had not only saved Villani lives, but had made the entire galaxy safer. A new class of Federation starships was named the Indomitable class. Each ship carried a plaque with the names of Wu Jin's crew and the ship's motto, "No one left behind." The surviving Villani established a new colony world and named it Indomitable. They built a city around a great memorial to the human crew. Every day at sunset, they would gather and sing the same song they had sung in the ship's final moments. Young Federation officers would study the battle recordings as part of their training. They learned about tactical innovation and impossible courage. But most importantly, they learned about the human principle that some things are worth dying for. The Forbidden Zone was no longer forbidden. With the Krex gone, it became a safe region of space. The dead star system where the battle was fought was renamed the Wu Jin system, in honor of the captain. Years passed, and the legend grew. Children across the galaxy learned about the humans, who had flown into certain death to save strangers. The story was told in 1,000 different languages on 1,000 different worlds. But perhaps the most important legacy was simpler. Whenever someone was in trouble in the dark reaches of space, they would send out a distress call. And somewhere, someone would remember the story of the Indomitable. Someone would remember that it was right to help those who couldn't help themselves. Someone would remember that courage and sacrifice could change the galaxy. And if humans received that call, they would respond without delay, because that's what made them human. The stars were vast and often cold, but as long as humans traveled among them, no one would be truly alone. The crew of the Indomitable had made sure of that. Their sacrifice had become a beacon of hope that would shine across the galaxy for generations to come. In the end, Captain Wu Jin and his crew had done more than save 257 Villani lives. They had proven that sometimes when the odds are impossible and the cause is just, ordinary people can do extraordinary things. They had shown the galaxy what humanity truly meant, and their story would never be forgotten.